In a quiet village at the base of a towering mountain lived a young man named Elias. Known for his kind heart and helpful nature, Elias harbored a deep personal struggle. Each day he would gaze into a small mirror, his face etched with uncertainty. "What have I really done?" Elias would whisper, staring at his reflection. "Who am I compared to those who have achieved so much?" He couldn't help but compare himself to the villagers around him, people who had climbed higher in life, seemingly untouched by doubt or fear. One day, an old traveler, cloaked in years of wisdom, arrived at the village and heard of Elias's troubles. "Young man," the traveler said, his voice soft yet firm, "if you truly wish to understand yourself, meet me at the top of the mountain tomorrow." Elias blinked in surprise. "The top of the mountain? I've never climbed it before. It's too high, too dangerous." The old traveler smiled, a knowing glint in his eye. "You'll see more than you think. Trust the journey." The next morning, with apprehension and determination mingling in his chest, Elias set out. The mountain loomed large before him, its peak hidden in the clouds. The climb was steep, and the air grew thin as he ascended. His legs burned and sweat dripped from his brow. Along the way, he saw other villagers, some turning back in defeat, some resting, and a few racing past him with ease. He felt the weight of his comparisons creeping in. "Look at them," he muttered under his breath. "They're faster, stronger. I'll never make it." But each time doubt gnawed at him, the traveler's words echoed in his mind. Trust the journey. After hours of climbing, Elias stumbled into a small clearing, utterly exhausted. He sat down, feeling the ache in his muscles. Nearby, an older man sat quietly, his face peaceful as he watched the clouds drift by. Elias sighed, wiping his face. "I feel like it. I don't think I can keep going." The old man smiled warmly. "Everyone who climbs this mountain says that at some point. But remember, the key isn't in reaching the top quickly. It's in taking one step at a time. Climbing is about perseverance, not comparison." The old man's words settled in Elias's heart. For the first time, he stopped looking at the others ahead of him or behind him. He began to focus solely on his own path, on the ground beneath his feet. Slowly but steadily, he placed one foot in front of the other, no longer burdened by the speed or ease of others' climbs. As the hours passed and the summit grew closer, Elias noticed a shift within himself. It wasn't about anyone else anymore. This climb was his alone, a test of his own strength and persistence. As the wind gently stirred the air at the summit, Elias felt lighter than ever before. The climb had been hard, but it had shown him something vital. It wasn't the destination that mattered most. It was the journey, and the strength he discovered within himself along the way. Finally, just as the sun began to set, Elias reached the summit. The view was breathtaking. Below him, the entire valley was bathed in golden light, the village he had known his whole life appearing so small, yet not insignificant. He stood tall, his chest swelling with pride. The old traveler was there, waiting, a knowing smile on his face. "You've made it," he said gently. "Now, what do you see?" Elias gazed out, his eyes tracing the distance. "I see everything. The world, my village, and how far I've come." The old traveler nodded. "And what have you learned?" Elias paused, letting the moment wash over him. Then, with a quiet smile, he answered, "I've been measuring myself all wrong. It wasn't about reaching the top faster or comparing myself to others. It was about taking my own steps, finding my own way." The traveler's eyes twinkled. Exactly. The mountain was never the true challenge. It was understanding that your worth comes from within, from each step you take. The journey was always about you. As the wind gently stirred the air at the summit, Elias felt lighter than ever before. The climb had been hard, but it had shown him something vital. It wasn't the destination that mattered most. It was the journey, and the strength he discovered within himself along the way. So a beautiful lesson that we all learned here is that true growth isn't found in comparison, but in recognizing the value of your own journey. It's not how fast you reach the top, but the courage and perseverance to keep climbing step by step.